You are standing in the living room. Your partner is on the other side of the coffee table. The dog is sitting exactly between you. She looks at your partner, then at you. She stands up. She walks slowly across the rug, bypassing the person who fed her breakfast, and rests her chin on the other person's knee. You believe she is being random. You assume her choice is based on a whim or perhaps a hidden treat in a pocket. This is a biological error. What you are witnessing is a sophisticated process of neurological selection. It is a calculation of emotional predictability and movement rhythm. By the end of this video, you will understand the specific factor that determines her preference: interspecies social synchronization. Let's begin. Canine social preference is built upon the biological foundation of the secure base effect. This effect is a clinical term for a dog's ability to use a specific social partner to maintain internal calm. The primary attachment figure acts as a biological regulator for the dog's autonomic nervous system. This system manages the heart rate, breathing, and the involuntary fight or flight response. When a dog identifies a favorite person, they are identifying the individual whose presence most effectively lowers their systemic cortisol. Cortisol is the primary hormone associated with environmental stress and vigilance. This preference is maintained through the release of oxytocin in the dog's hypothalamus. Oxytocin is a neuropeptide that facilitates long-term trust and social bonding. This biological anchor dictates the hierarchy of the household. You are in the kitchen preparing the dog's dinner. You measure the kibble and place the bowl on the floor. The dog eats. 5 minutes later, the dog walks into the office to sit silently next to the family member who has been working quietly for 3 hours. You believe the person who provides the food should be the favorite. You assume that resource provision is the primary driver of the social bond. But a 2011 study in the journal Applied Animal Behavior Science by Wren and colleagues found that the duration of a social interaction is less important than the quality of attention provided. The finding revealed that dogs did not prioritize individuals based on food delivery alone. Instead, the study showed that dogs engaged in 20% more proximity seeking with partners who provided focused social play and quiet mutual gaze. The consequence for the dog in this moment is a deep neurological prioritization. Inside the dog's brain, a chemical hierarchy is at work. While food triggers a short-term dopamine surge in the reward center, it does not activate the long-term bonding pathways. Dopamine is the chemical associated with anticipation, but its effect is fleeting. In contrast, focused social interaction triggers a sustained release of oxytocin in the supraoptic nucleus. This chemical provides the dog with a sense of lasting biological security. The dog's brain maps family members based on their rhythmic consistency. If a person is erratic or distracted, even if they provide food, the dog's amygdala remains in a state of low-level scanning. The amygdala is the brain's threat detector. When the dog chooses the person who provides focused attention, she is selecting the partner who most effectively downregulates her HPA axis. This regulation is the true currency of the canine-human bond. Every focused look and quiet touch reinforces a neural pathway that bypasses the fear centers. The favorite person becomes a chemical radiator of stability. This bond is a fortress wall that protects the animal from environmental noise. The research-supported response. Dedicate 10 minutes of absolute screen-free focus to your dog every day. High-quality attention through shared movement is more biologically significant than 2 hours of passive proximity. The family is watching television in the evening. There are 3 people on the furniture. The dog jumps up and squeezes her body into the small gap between the couch and the youngest family member's legs. She does not look for the person with the most space or the person who provides the most treats. Most owners assume the dog is seeking physical warmth. You believe she is looking for the most comfortable surface or the softest blanket. But a 2005 study in the journal Animal Cognition by Topol and colleagues investigated the secure base effect in canine attachment. The clinical finding revealed that heart rate synchronization occurred in 80% of dogs when they were in physical contact with their primary attachment figure. The dog shows a distinct preference for social partners who match their own natural activity rhythm. The consequence of this positioning is a process called biological entrainment. This is a high-level physiological event where one internal rhythm aligns with another. When the dog lies next to her favorite person, her respiratory rate begins to align with theirs. The dog's brain uses the human's breathing and heart rate as a biological metronome. This is a rhythmic signal that helps the dog regulate her own autonomic state. If a family member has a chaotic or high-energy rhythm, the dog's nervous system must work harder to maintain its own balance. The dog's brain operates on a principle of metabolic efficiency. It seeks out the social partner who requires the least amount of energy to mirror. The favorite person is the one whose rhythm provides a predictable sensory environment. Inside the dog's brain, the hippocampus, the center for memory and emotional processing, records these moments of synchronization. Over time, this builds a safety profile for that individual. She is not choosing warmth. She is choosing the partner who allows her brain to enter the most restorative state of rest. This rhythmic alignment is a pendulum swinging in perfect harmony with a secondary weight. The research-supported response. Observe your dog's natural pace during a walk and match your movement to theirs. This physical synchronization provides the neurological data the dog needs to categorize you as a secure base. You are walking through the hallway. The dog is sitting in the center of the house. A neutral family member walks past without speaking or making eye contact. The dog stands up and follows them into the laundry room, sitting quietly by their side while they move piles of clothes. You assume the dog is bored and is following the person because of their novelty. You believe she is hoping for a change in her routine. But a study in the journal Scientific Reports found that predictability is the primary metric for canine social selection. The finding revealed that dogs showed a 30% higher rate of proximity seeking with individuals who provided consistent, non-threatening social cues. This was observed even in the absence of any physical or verbal interaction. The consequence for the dog in this interaction is a total reduction in environmental scanning. For a dog, an unpredictable human is a constant source of sensory noise. When a person is erratic, moving suddenly, or shouting, the dog's amygdala remains in a state of high alert maintenance. This state consumes significant metabolic energy. In contrast, a consistent person provides a clear data stream. The dog's sensory cortex can filter out the movements of this person because they are predictable. This predictability is the foundation of biological trust. When the dog follows the quiet person, her brain is experiencing a state of sensory relief. The lack of demands or sudden acoustic shifts allow the HPA axis to remain at a baseline level. The dog is not looking for a game. She is looking for a social environment that does not require constant monitoring. The favorite person is often the one who makes the least noise and the fewest demands. The dog is choosing the path of least resistance for her nervous system. This ensures her internal motor is not perpetually running at a high idle. This individual acts like a lighthouse, providing a steady, unchanging beam in a foggy landscape. The research-supported response. Practice passive presence. Sit in the same room as your dog without interacting with them. This non-demanding proximity builds a foundation of predictability that is essential for a primary social bond. The selection of a favorite person is the conclusion of a long-term biological evaluation. It answers the promise of interspecies social synchronization. The dog is not looking for a master or a provider in a human sense. She is looking for a physiological regulator. The The studies in animal cognition and scientific reports reveal that preference is a functional calculation of energy. The dog's brain is a precision instrument designed to detect social noise. An unpredictable family member creates a high metabolic load for the dog because their behavior requires constant monitoring. The favorite person is the one whose presence allows the dog to stop scanning. This is why the individual who provides the food is often not the primary attachment figure. Kibble is a resource, but predictability is a survival requirement. The favorite person is the individual with whom the dog can most effectively downregulate her HPA axis. In a household with multiple humans, the dog is constantly processing a massive influx of social data. When she identifies the person whose rhythm, scent, and attention are the most consistent, she can finally power down her internal radar. This is a profound neurological event. It is the moment the dog transitions from a state of social vigilance to a state of social rest. By choosing the favorite, the dog is securing her own biological future. She is identifying the regulator that will keep her internal systems in balance. This bond is built in the quiet intervals between activities. It is not found in the excitement of a treat or the chaos of a game. It is found in the shared silence where the dog feels safe enough to be vulnerable. She isn't just choosing a companion. She is choosing the social partner who allows her to be her most authentic, restful self. This decision is an evolutionary investment in her own physical and mental safety. The dog's choice is a biological mirror of your own consistency. She is looking for safety,